One man stood on the sand in front of him, a huge creature, like a scorpion, with a red eye. And the ugly animal throws too many teeth at a person with evil thoughts. But the person does not threaten him at all. He jumps on him with his sword when he moves a monster called the Scorpion King, and soon after that falls by the hands of our chief commander. We see the hero Hanu, who we see leaving. Since the battle of the victorious, he is very bored and asks the question, who is he going to hunt next time? In the world we're in right now, it's a game that can be called a game known as a game. Arena, he is the #1 player in the game and has the melee player named God, which he has set countless records, but in this case this time. The day he decides that he is going to leave and focus on the real world and not leave the game forever. His best friend Enshin was ashamed as his friends decided to stop living as a nerd and then start to really live. Hein-woo calmly explains what he needs. He just can't play, he's forever young, can't play. He doesn't stop pestering him, although he says that he can at least sell all things instead of cash. To just remove everything, the arena never existed. To earn money for Hang-woo, and it was just something for joy he would not regret deleting. Create your account even though it's just throwing away millions of dollars like an idiot waving goodbye to Youngchin. He should do some time in the army, and he should be in the army sometime, and he should be in the army sometime after that, inherit his construction business father. When he got out of jail, 2 years passed and everything was wrong. Hyuna works in a store, earns only $9. Who could have guessed that he was super rich, the heir to a rich construction industry? Companies. The company can fall to such a low rate during his last year in the army. His father seriously blamed him for the bankruptcy of the company due to his father being seriously accused of bankruptcy. His family fell ill and he was in the hospital. Due to a large debt, he was ruined in a fight. There are really no jokes in the medical bills, spending most of their money to support his struggling Hyang's family is forced to eat from an expired food store just alive. He wonders how long he's lived. Can he live like this? Gets a message that his Youngchin's old friend was a ghost. Last some years, we are not sure that they will even send him a letter, although they did not receive answers. Junction is still regularly texting Hyunwoo, check him out, he's a real friend now. The text asked Hyunwoo, do you think about him? After returning to the stage, and our main character thinks that the idea is not bad. Lately, arenas have been generating income for streamers and professional players. It's easy to make a 6-digit letter. Fumu was the first player in the Once Upon a Time ranking. Time, if he can return it, then he can return it. In fact, being able to be slightly red is a very good idea, but he even starts to smell it. Finger closed, his eyes for some reason. When he lights up with hope, he quickly goes to the store to buy the game console that he gave him. One has to play on a cube known as the Arena Cube. Facial expression changes when he realizes that it costs 3 times more than the current monthly salary. Yes, okay, you can wait for the medical father's bill, because now it's time to play. When he looks at the chair, some blonde dude comes up to him. But some blonde dude walks up to him, some blonde dude walks up to him, some blonde dude walks up to him, some blonde guy. Hinwoo's girlfriend doesn't know who she is. This guy hasn't reminded him of his name yet. Handy could be the son, old business partner of the father, or maybe the son of an old business partner. Father bedridden, and he keeps him. The family is terrible, but the old business partner seems to be doing fine. A man walks through the Hyangs with a girl and passes by. On his face, the beak says that all he needs is all he needs. It happened to the Hyunwoo family, the handiwork of Hanbok's father. Their 2 fathers were business partners, and the father was the father. Man stabs his father Hang-woo. After 10 years of working together, the little guy digs a knife into his back and tells Hyang even deeper that he should go and take care of his father to death because he probably left not very long ago, and that was the last straw in our world. The protagonist beats the child in the sandwich knuckles, knocking down on the floor of his ass. We can see the girl he saw in shock, and the guards, who rushed at the guard, tried with all their might to try to leave the guard. Hold Hang-woo while screaming in rage, the reason why his father bedridden him and the reason his dad is bedridden, the reason he is bedridden, and the reason he is bedridden. Living in ruins is all work. Shouting at the Hanbok's family at the throat, he says that he intends to kill Hanbok despite the fact that he will not do anything. He can't leave the precinct until the end of the day even though it rains on the floor at night. It's an accurate metaphor for his true feelings. She's betrayed, yet the villains brazenly brag about it, which is fueled by rage, hatred and rage. He promises himself revenge. These feelings quickly become sad, and these feelings quickly become sad and sad. Desperate, despite the fact that he is now without money. Too powerless even to think of something like the place, his attention is drawn to a news broadcast where he is interested in news release. It's about an arena player who gets paid $500,000 and how the fame has an incredible impact on the economy. Hyang is really desperate, and maybe it could be that way. His only chance is a good life, and he finally gains the courage to call an old friend. Youngchan, who almost answers all questions immediately, like a true bro. When Youngchin asked why he was calling, Heinwu said that he told him that he told him. He finally returned to the arena after many years of absence. He wants his title as number 1 to return to the arena where they played. Has anyone signed up for a big subscription in hand-to-hand combat, old data about gods, an employee talking, the AI on a game called Dog, etc. Asking how this rookie is doing. The playable character who is in charge of managing the players while learning in the arenas looks at Hein Wu in shock. After Henwood stood with a clenched fist, he demands to take him to the next. Yes, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here. I don't waste time if the arena is the only way for him to make a difference, even if that is the only reason he can play in this tournament. It's his good friend who let him use his arena cube while Hein Wu can't afford it. He's very good. Thank you and thank you friend for your help. Junction is sure that he will definitely be repaid later, and Junction believes that it does not matter in any way until he becomes a ghost. Once again, everything is in order in the arena. Our team. The protagonist talked about Hein Wu's preparation for the level 10 test. This fits him. Hein Wu took a deep breath as he prepared to register himself, since he hadn't fought in the arenas for a long time. The opponent standing in front of him was a level 10 dark elf. Warrior elf is dual wielding, and Wu is only first rank, so he needs to fight, and Wu seems quite cold, even though closing his eyes, taking a deep breath, dark elf takes this opportunity to fight. Elf uses this opportunity to fight, the elf uses this opportunity to overcome this fight, the elf uses pounce on her, thinking that this is so it was a mistake for him when he closed his eyes. The elf does not know that he is dealing with the famous Oga melee Jiang Wu, blocks the attack as if on the pilot, a duel begins. The reason Hein Wu was able to come out on top earlier was because no one managed to reach that spot. Compare his level with your control level during the fight with the elf. He considers his recent life and all those who were part of it. And even offer him a place. If he needs it, he is very desperate to treat his parents as his parents. And for his sick father, and for his mother who is always there, and finally he feels a great desire. In particular, this manual beak. Emotions give him a huge amount of motivation. It seems at this point, he finishes the battle with a dark elf who said to himself that he will be the best player of the arena at a speed that no one even knows. That god in hand-to-hand combat really returns. I congratulate the main character, learning. It ends here, and now it ends. Can enter the virtual game. The first person he meets is a guy named L, the old man of the village. At a place called Aslan, he gives the Hengu a ring with a giant ring in honor of graduation. The spirit that enhances her strength, ring upon ring his fingers are almost as bright as his smile. This is a unique item, so early that he appeared to speed up the leveling of ranked dungeons, Henwu refuses his offers for the moment. This is the moment because there is a specific thing that he wants to do first. Jungyan smiles to himself, wondering if there is one on Earth. A friend might have been planning to do this. At the beginning of the last game, there was an item used by all the hardcore players in the arena. Ocean. Experience and name. She increased her income. The player gained 20 hours of experience in 4 hours. Memories that the supplier was Henv, he still remains in the state. The only one who can know how to do it. Therefore, if he sells potions, he can call any price he has in mind. If he sells them at the auction, he can call any price he has in mind. I wish he was now trying to assemble the components in order to create one of these seeds, but now he is trying to make one of these seeds. After fighting the ladder, he wonders if he should have gone to the subway to get it when trying to enter one will stop him. The purple-haired man who wears purple hair is a member of the Black Skull Guild. He says that this place belongs to the Black Skull Guild. It's the only place where Haingwu can get the substance he needs, so it stretches past the person. Decided to go and get it. Purple guy pulls his sword and puts it around the Haingwu's neck, calling her rookie, tell him to leave. His whole life depends on it's not for him, but for him it's not for the game. Wants not to waste a second, decides with the guy make a that they two will beat, and the one who will fight and the one who will fight and the one who will fight and the one who will fight. You need to delete the character and start over. The guy is worried that the new player might be so cocky and brash. Confident that he accepts Savka, considering it an easy fight, Hengwu tells the guy. Say goodbye to the character for the last time. When he drew the sword from his weapon, he drew the sword from his weapon. Soon the duel began and two players attack towards each other, weapons in our hand. The main character strikes with the sword right on the guy's face and asks where the noob could get this excellent speed and agility. Henwa with ease blocks attacks, making his level doubt. The guy is certainly much, albeit much more than above. The purple guy starts to think that he can have a unique thing. He seemed to be unique. Too relaxed before to be more relaxed. Being a rookie, he finally manages to hit him, but there is a Huma standing there, unabashedly, hitting an attack that hits him in the shoulder when he hits Henwood. Hit. Behind the guy's back, as if imperturbable, he must. Maybe he blocked the sensation of pain and didn't feel the attack like it was a fight. Easier than he expected from a Hying, and he cuts it with his. The purple guy is ready to end this as soon as possible. As it turns out, that type of defeated noob. Who the hell is this person and why is he so strong? As long as a person is distracted from such meaningless thoughts, Hyunga goes on a serious attack. He needs to block so hard. To his shock, he stands still in Hyunwoo's attack. It reaches the goal without problems, so no problem arises. How he blocked the pain, he doesn't know the state of the body, he suffered too much and was tired to get rid of the pain. Even moving high with his arms outstretched, Hyunwoo is trying to test all the new things he managed to win in this fight and prepare for the fight to enter the fight. Dungeon to obtain the necessary ingredients. After he gets the last ingredient, we will send him to the workshop. We see a big blue capsule. This is this capsule. This device automatically creates items for the player but cannot compensate for skills as it can only be used once. In a month, Hyunwoo decides to make a potion that gives the player an increase of 20 in the next month. For hours, he holds it in his hands in the air, admiring the fruits of taste. Now, it's time for him to go and earn some money. At the moment, the store received experience potion. For the first time in many years, everyone was shocked by its appearance, and there is only one drawback to this item. Forced players from all countries to go. The price of the potion grew exponentially and led to an increase in the cost of the potion in stores. 6 months, the highest time in 6 months the price he sold was $3,000, but in the end it was sold for 5,000 gold. In this case, when he walked down Hanwall Street, he thinks of himself that he thinks to himself gold is worth about $1 with 5,000 gold pieces, which he can pay to his owner. Father told about hospital bills and medical expenses. After that, he will still have about 2,000 gold no matter which way he goes. Choose whether it's a streamer, a professional player, you need an increase in rank and combat power, you need a better player. Funds for equipment, using their leftovers instead of looking more practical, he decided to get the most practical thing. Best of all, he bought himself a sword. This is a rather rare item with good qualities. The village looks around and is shocked to notice that Hengwoo has changed a lot since his birth. The last time I saw him was quite recently. Passers-by are watching him on the streets, who are wondering if he will join him. Cult or anything to progress so fast even though gear stats are so fast. Green shirt and yellow shirt look ridiculous. Sword and red pants, dude, walking traffic light, slightly embarrassed face. Hyunwoo looks the same color as him. He asked Del to show him the secret of red-eyed wolves with white fur and razor sharp. The fangs of these monsters look terrible, but the Hyunwoo never wastes time working with his new stats on his feet. He is much lighter. His quest is almost immediately finished. After the death of 15 warriors, he stops worrying about his life appearance since the equipment is obviously very effective. It is not for entertainment. With every minute and every second in order to make money, you need to spend your time earning. His goal is to reach level 10 before today, so he goes to the house. Goblin Dungeon. Many other people had the same idea, and the places were overflowing with strong powers. A man recruits a nearby player. Hyunwoo's team goes to him and asks if it's possible to join his group. At first he says yes, and then starts. He touched his chin and thought. He told Hen that his group was promoted and Henwood needed Henwood. Let's go to the rookie group instead of him because he's so short, clenching his fist and walking away. Damn player, even if not without him. The high level at which he is capable to cope with such an enemy, like goblins. A woman of light comes up to him and asks if you have anyone. Do you have anyone? He has experience in the goblins dungeon. Her group was the first time in the dungeons, so he is looking for experience from her. Ask if I don't want. Maybe he'll join her group. Agrees that he'll gladly ferry her through the dungeon like the dupes of the other members. The groups look at our main hero with an expression of disgust and disappointment. A cute girl offers to introduce herself to everyone. A level 20 princess named Princess Emission lies through her teeth, and the group says that he is level 20, fortunately for him, and no. The stats are hidden, so they're looking for them. No idea. Starting from the left, they represent other players. Their levels are all 20 levels, and they're all 20 levels. They are different classes of warriors, archers and magicians. The group noticed that Hyunwoo did not have resistance items, and the group asked him if he would be okay. Hyunwoo was sure that everything was okay. They said that his mechanics were good, so he would be at the entrance to the dungeon. Dark. A dark cave with ugly goblins inside. With weapons, shields and weapons ready. For immediate attack, the genie warrior stands next to the group and speaks his words. To get the members ready to keep the trumpets. Full the goblins started shooting at all things in the party, the genie raises a shield to block them on the attack, yells for his team. To defend themselves, they follow his orders arrow, ready to shoot magic, illuminates. The goblins like June 4th, and arrows fall on them like snow, looking at Hengwu, who is impressed, although he is nervous because he is nervous. The dungeons that his team keeps, they are very good teams, like they don't even need them. Everything is as good as the contestant after an hour of goblin hunting, they play the part, everything calms down for a minute and the group for a minute. Short break, group. Speaking about his skills, Hien-woo comments on his skills, thinking that he was good enough there and that he will probably use them. Something amazing, Somi claims to have had a good rest. They have to make sure it's them. After they were about to challenge hobbling like they planned, Hyungmu is worried when they hear them, and Hyungma is shocked when they hear the masks when they fought the hobgoblin boss until then. Until Jinwoo was the only one who was the only one. Fought and the rest were inexperienced. Hobgoblin is a rather difficult leader of the senior level 20 players, a lot of time has passed since Hyunmu defeated one of them, the party begins to discuss strategy, the group looks at the young archer and jokingly asks him not to ask him. Shooting in the back, Allman replied that he no longer makes such mistakes, smiling awkwardly, they move along the underground part before they reach it. In the room with the boss. Hobgoblin sits on the throne and his minions as for the lower ratings, they stand between them and his entrance, the team is ahead, Somi increases the gains. She uses her group and Allman and Jia use their skills. Ranged attacks are in effect, while Hyungma and Jinwa lead the attack at the top of the line and Hyungma and Jinwa advance. The goblins attack and the men will do anything to keep themselves out of close combat with Sami's buffs, not that hard, Hobgoblin. She raises her hand and looks like something is coming out of it. The dark ball of the chief who is supposed to be the boss. If the enemy uses another attack, then it will be a problem if the enemy uses another attack. Dark. Also Hyung has to attack him after he does it again, he calls his team for help, but the team is shocked by what happened to Jinwoo and she stands there watching what is happening to Jinwoo and stood watching Hyunwoo break through the low-ranking goblins in front of him, asking what the hell is he doing and why are they doing this, 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 just watching as Aben's hands begin to prepare for new magical attacks. Looks like Hyung doesn't make it in time as he rushes at the boss. An arrow shoots out of nowhere, almost hitting him. The eye, when it hears the howling sound, arrow. Coming from Chilman apologizing for not being our protagonist, Chilman apologizing for not being our protagonist. You child, what a frustrating expression. While Hobgoblin is distracted from the pain, Yuma takes the opportunity to cut off. Losing an arm and an eye, it's not that guy's day. Hyunwoo calls his teammates for help again, this day, on this when they listen, beat the boss with a flurry of magic, then they beat his boss, and they beat his boss. Air attacks defeat him, the group stood in front of the hum with a smile on their faces. He looks at me throughout the work items thrown by the boss and asks if he needs to take them all for himself. All. The party is friendly and it's them they seem cute, but Hyungwoo worries they'll get killed if he's too greedy, decides he. Just take one item, a random pet box, and leave the rest in your group for important things to do. Hyungwoo leaves and the group says goodbye, asking if he would like to do it again, but Hyungwoo just leaves, he is worried about being worried. An expert assessed potential traitors and decided that they would be traitors, he can't help himself after coming out of the underwater dungeon, he sees that he was able to reach his destination, he can now reach level 10. He stands in front of a great tower and keeps his hands on his hips. What is this tower? Class tower of the tower. Each floor is a separate class where you can move, it's like a reminder that you can move. In the department store, this is for you, the player who was able to reach level 10. Can be anyone, ranging from a rabbit, ending with a dragon. Wait an hour for the egg to hatch. He decided that in this free time he will get a new class, thinks deeply about what he is going to do to choose. Inside the tower, he enters the warrior class and the warrior manager approaches him, who comes to him by name. Han Hengwu. He's here for the warrior and he's here for the warrior and he's here for the warrior. Khan is happy to hear this, talking about a wise choice, about the warrior class. He is different from other lousy people. Han decides if he deserves his classes on the bottom floor. Can Hyungma become a warrior? In one fight, both are preparing weapons and Han believes that Hyungma can do it. The first step is honesty, after that, honesty. After Heinwood said, go to her, our hero does not refuse what he said, the attack is powerful, and Khan blocks it, he said, the attack is powerful and Khan blocks it, he said, what did he say? Thinks of himself, the attack is strong, and the Henwu needs to know the sword, it is clear what is different from him. other players who came to him when he tries to be a warrior, he is already more qualified to join the attack class. Attack. Khan keeps working and Khan keeps working. Blocking them, he smiles at the impressive strength of our heroes, even though he is noobs who did not get a decent class, but when they did not get a decent class. Han throws another punch, it makes Hyuna get upset and knock him down, even though he's good, he clearly doesn't have any skills to knock him down, although he's good, he clearly doesn't have any skills. Defeat someone like Han, when on the second attack Han comes, Hanma blocks it with his feet and then almost. He immediately parries his attack. She blocked but also launched a counterattack, while Hyunwoo's movements have natural flows that are not related to traditional movements. Fencing with swords, Hyunu turns into another attack and the head of the warrior class moves into another attack. The question is this what it means? It's just that when Hyunwoo landed exactly attacking, the manager shouted to stop talking about it being a natural talent, only when Hyunwoo landed exactly attacking, the manager shouted not to say that he was more qualified to be a warrior, admits that Hyunwoo is very experienced and gives him a chance. He is allowed to join. After joining this new class, he gains new knowledge, all of which are related to him. For close combat and use after the two-part Han threw a coin at Hyuna and said that he threw the coin at Hyuna. He must be convinced of his confidence when he is in his confidence. Yun Power, we need to go find the owner of the coin, and the coin is a new quest. When the knight Lebron was known as Lebron, when the knight was known as Lebron. It will be ready, and the reward for the quests will be Lebron's skill, which is called Lebron's skills. Lebron is one of those who is. She leads the army in the arena. She is the strongest knight in her country. During the mission, he gains the skill of the strongest knight of the empire and, not wanting to waste any more time, leaves the empire. From the tower, thinking about why he was given this hidden quest, but not regretting that the quests have a rank. That's why he'll have to drag around level 50 before he can walk and do it. An hour later, an hour has passed and he accidentally got his pet's egg. He is about to hatch and holds it in his hands. He asks his hand and asks the question that he was lucky today, so, probably, something can be good. Part wanted dragons, but part wants him to be a dragon, but another part of him knows that it will be hard for him to take care of him. The egg almost died. Of anticipation, the egg finally hatched and popped out. Cute little fluffy bear Hyuna is speechless when she sees the new bear cub. The bear's pet can even talk about what he's doing. Our protagonist is even more worried. The talking dog is something that never has didn't hear, so it was, so that it could be so unique. Asking if he can make money by making him work, the bear jumps to his great surprise on his shoulders and starts pulling his hair and demanding to move forward, unhappy that some small bear Hyunwoo is commanding him. Then throws the new pet in anger, telling him to teach. The bear is unhappy, talking about how Hyun dared to do this in the humming bear. Peskov, and then he offended ours. The main character says that he obviously never had a girlfriend. Only leads to the fact that the bear gets more punishment from Hyunwoo. The bear is fine now in level 5, and Hyunwoo decides to call her Tangy. Tangy wants to meet the new owner, but he wants to talk to the new owner, Leaves the BAME, leaving him alone after he left the BAME after he just hatched in real life. Hyunwoo leaves the arena. Cube took a deep breath. He was there for a long time. What the hell did he achieve? The day when he heard that he had a class like a streamer. A blank expression appears on Hyunwoo's face, realizing that the friend is right and starting to think that this is a job because the streamer is in our country. Pretty good paid days. Junction tells Hyun that he has to do something. He wants our main character to be recorded. Every time he plays like that. Can use video to create a promotional video and place it on the world stage. Hyunwoo is embarrassed. Smiles, although it sounds cute. Being a streamer is easier said than done, but Anshin insists on help and offered to become his leader if he manages him. The former number 1 ranked player will start streaming. Probably people want to see the smile on Hyunwoo's face that he promised he would do. Try to live up to your high expectations. After some time in the game, came across a group of elves buried by dark elves, looking down on them sharp. Since this is their first battle together, he expects a lot from the new dog. Looking at the sword, Hyunwoo's shocking face glows green. It turns out Tangai has applied a buff called Spirit to build strength Constitution. Hyunwoo looks at the new pet. He thought the bear is a tank pet after he discovered that it really is an elf. The dark elves will try to attack him while they are distracted, but this of course does not work and he ends. They think that this is his new life. The pet is able to increase his strength. Features of physique, defense, etc. Also gives a permanent recovery buff. It's actually quite useful. Henv. Big Deal keeps on doing to him a lot of dark elf. You can see the dark figures that are hiding in the tree, spying on ours. It turned out that the main characters found their places. In fact, there is a whole group of people looking for their latest victim. The group looked at Hyan Woo and talk about his weapon, saying it's expensive, and talk about how they're going to steal it. One of them, members of the group, make a remark that this is our team. The protagonist seems to be pretty good at fights, so they have to be careful because they have to be careful because they have to be careful because they have to be. The other members of the group think she is an idiot. He is never above level 20 and greatly outnumbered. He is experienced. Thieves that can be dealt but quickly with our main character, the elf, is not so impressive. Hyunu declared his hatred for Hyunu, desperately snatches Tangi out of his head and begins to punish him again when a group of monsters appears in a group of villains. When they approach, they are friendly. They ask Hyuna and he is alone and would not like to join their group. It's good to see them. The other player here in the forest is Hyan Woo. I noticed that they seem to be experienced participants, so I asked the question, why are they like that at all? I want her to join in. It seems they are all wearing level 20 clothes and one even has to have a sword, which he should have. It must be at least level 40. The fact that they hide their levels and approached our main characters means that they are players destroying other game players. Hyan Woo smiles. How could this be an opportunity for him to join his group and start joining them? Introducing himself as not wanting to tell them his true name, Hyunu introduces himself as a Jungcheon and Jungcheon introduces himself as a Jungcheon. Behaves benevolently and benevolently sinister elves to them even more and continue to act as a group in order to destroy them. They just use them, but he just uses them. In his group, like a human shield, quietly hiding behind them and then slowly jumping out only to unleash a chain of attacks, only to untie the flail in order to then again hide behind the members of the group. The group is strong and thus the members of the group are strong, therefore the members of the group are strong. It helps to hunt monsters. His skill grows like yeast. After an hour he starts to upset the group. Everything that the Henwu does is hiding behind them and he understands that he simply uses them even when he tries to covertly attack our chief. The hero, he just can't evade the hero. In this regard, the group partly talks and wonders how much more time they will have to continue this process. After they can just rob Hunavo. Tangi overhears them being accused of Hyan Woo's murder expensive things. He tells his friend Chief everything. How they plan to stab him in the back while they are at war with the boss. Mew is very strong. That is his job and his job is his job. This is done, so he plans to stab them in the back first and record the action he was talking about. Maybe it has a lot of views, like that. As for the players who destroy others, it is usually not very popular with her facial expression. The party is out of order. Their private discussion and apology to our heroes. What made him wait? They talk so long. Talk about what they talk about now. Boss hunt and ask and Hinwoo don't want to go with them if you want. Post comments that he may not help the boss much or may just prevent the parties from saying what the hell is this? That's such a high attack stat and they might not have gone this far if he didn't know about their plans. Hyan Woo comments seriously on their proposal to fight their boss, saying that he is going to have a party during the battle with the boss and now the members of the group just simply go to the stage. Frustrated, can't wait to finally get killed, they go to the boss fight and they go to the boss fight. In the leader, the elves began to fight with the elves. The elves are not a joke and the group is fighting with him as a small one of the members of the group. Calgate Airlines flew back to one of the attacks. The boss insults him, saying that he mocks him in front of him. If he came to the Black Forest to test his strength, then he should be at least a little strong. When he arrives, Cal. Why is this boss surprising himself defeating when he hit level 40 is so hard? Even when he's wearing low level gear, it can be an easy game. The team continues to fight the boss and waits for a signal. In order for his leader to finally pounce on Hyang, the buff is applied to all members of the group as well as to all members of the group. This is an attack signal. Brings back an arrow that can paralyze anyone hit by it and calls it Hengwu, but Tangai is behind him, softly. He breathes into his ear, which distracts him. That's why he breathes, that's why misses, and the arrow hits his teammate and his own team. Cal apologizes to Archer Cal, who is obviously very angry about the whole situation. Cal ends up paralyzed to the floor, and Hyang Woo also apologizes for the pet's actions and says it was just his action. Cheerful little freak, it's all the situation distracts the event as the main elf boss approaches them, grabbing the participants on one side. The name Crawford by the neck lifts them into the air and weakens their attention, not the luxury that belongs to a weak Hyungma rushing at the two of them, telling the boss to let Crawford go, not the luxury that belongs to the weak Hyungma throwing themselves at the two of them, telling the boss, let go of Crawford. Surprisingly, Hein Wu actually attacks Crawford, but it is not the boss who stabs him from the side, bleeding from his stomach. Crawford asked why he attacked him, and his boss Hein Wu thinks it's the best move for expression, who wonders what's different in general. According to him, he told the Hines that they need to know when they are trying to stab someone in the back. The most can end up with what they do to them. The same elf boss is also standing here, never seen anything like it before. The team attacks the group and attacks, but she was discovered and must defend herself, leaving the boss Hen Wu on them to run, dodging their attacks and preparing to strike their strikes. The counter-attack of their own bosses looked at Kala, who was still paralyzed on the floor. He says in a rage that if he could just move, then this fight and was. If it was empty, the elf boss would silence him, saying that the winner should not say a word. Fianwu fights alone with two friends members of the group and fight, although their level is much higher than him. Elf boss is watching how this man looks terrible. Unlike everyone he has seen before, our main character becomes the winner after the victory. These are the villains who just jumped higher, and they them and they them and they them and they. The skill was pathetic. It would not be easy to try to draw attention to yourself if the opponents were weak, but as you know, it would not be easy to try to draw attention to yourself if the opponents were weak. At least he got a funny video from him. To do this, he now just needs a strong opponent against whom he can really show his strength. He was looking at the leaders, elves. The level 20 player who defeated the dark elf leader is smiling to himself, which would have made the video perfect. Battle. When they run to each other, communication begins between them. After the battle, the scene cuts to each other as Hein Wu shows a video of Yongchen talking about Hein. I was lucky to meet such people. Guys, all the murder he did today got him good enough stuff in the